Welcome to the Carl Watts Golf Daily Lesson Live number 6. Yes, we're into week number 2, which is very cool. So I have a question from Paul from Belfast, who plays a 12 handicap. Now, he's just recently subscribed to the channel, and his question for me was this. Who was the best tour caddy you had on the bag when you were competing on a tour, and why? Now, good question that I'll answer with a very simple story for you. However, remember, what's important is not that I can come up with a nice story for you, but actually, how could this help your game, which is the key thing that we're after. So everything I'm doing in regards to the YouTube channel and to do with the daily lesson lives, it's all about creating one tip at a time. So what we're after is, can you take what I explained from the lesson today to do with Paul's question, can you take this tip and take it onto the course and actually immediately save yourself a shot? Now, if I can give you a few really logical tips that can actually help you to whatever area of the game, you keep utilising a few of these tips and compounding them, they will make a difference. However, you will also come across the odd tip which actually will make a big difference. And when I say that you're only one tip away, what I'm saying is that literally we've had results with players where they've taken a tip and they've suddenly saved them 5 or 6 shots in a round of golf. So it was just like the missing piece of the jigsaw for them. So let me answer Paul's question for you. So I'm going to take you back to 1997, which, oh my goodness me, was 24 years ago now. And it was when I was competing on the European Tour, and I was playing at the BMW Open in Munich in Germany. Now, I arrived at that tournament without a regular tour caddy. I was sort of swapping and for different caddies over time. And one of the top tour caddies at the moment there, a guy called David Johnson, was suddenly available. He was caddying for one of the top Swedish players, and then that player had to withdraw very suddenly, I think, with an injury. Now, we then got paired up, so obviously David was looking for someone to caddy for. I was also in that position. So suddenly on the Wednesday, I had my caddy. Now, take you through to Thursday, first round. I'm playing the first hole. I hit the tee shot down the centre. And I then have Magic Johnson, which was his nickname, because obviously linked into the basketball player. He comes up to me and he goes, right, Carl, you have, I'll actually write this down here. This is exactly what he did. He went, right, Carl, you've got 125 to the front edge. You have 137 to the pin. And you have 155 to the back edge. The wind is 5 in off the right. Now, having looked at your game yesterday, I know you hit a 9-iron, 135 yards with a draw. So what I'd like you to do, Carl, is aim at the right edge of that bunker and hit a hard draw for me, and that should leave us nicely sort of 3 or 4 yards short of that pin, taking out all the trouble which we're after. Now, he gave me the club and literally just walked straight off. Wasn't remotely interested in anything I had to say. Now, at the time, I have to say I was a bit peeved because I am the player. However, begrudgingly, I took the club, I hit the shot. Now, it took me about 9 holes to actually get used to this. And then by the end of it, I just went, yep, okay, I'll do whatever you want me to do, and off I go. Now, suddenly for the back 9, I literally was on fire with my game. So I had 8 birdies in 9 holes out of the blue. Now, up until that point, throughout the whole of that season, I was struggling in a big way. I was missing cuts. If I made a cut, I made it by 1. I'd finish last in the field. I was really struggling. Then out of the blue, I showed no signs of form whatsoever. Out of the blue, I suddenly go and get 8 birdies in 9 holes. I get the TV crews coming out. It looks like I'm on the verge of the record, 6 birdies in a row. The record at the time was 7. I then bogeyed a hole and then birdied the last couple. However, it had a huge impact. That then continued for round 3, for 2, 3 and 4, eventually shooting 24 under par, which at the time was a European Tour record, and eventually losing into a playoff with Robert Carlson. Now, what on earth happened and what did he bring to the equation? So Paul's question was, who was the best caddy I had and why? Now, he clearly was the best caddy because of the type of result I suddenly had. But what did he actually do for me? And how can this actually help your game? How can it help you to save a shot or maybe 2 or 3 during a round? Now, what he did for me, and you would expect professionals to be doing this anyway, but he took every element of doubt out of the equation for me. There was not an inkling of doubt. If you remember what he did, and then he continued doing throughout, is he just went, this is the yardage to the front, this is the yardage to the pin, this is the yardage to the back, the wind is 5 into, or whatever the wind was. I want you to hit it this distance, and with this shape, go and do it. So there was absolutely nothing for the first time ever that I had been playing the game, and I mean that as well, where actually I played with such freedom and with no doubt. It gave me full permission to just go at shots. So I was able to stand there and hit the ball hard, where normally, and especially as a pro golfer, it's very easy to stand there in a little bit of doubt, hold back, what if I do this, I've got to make the cut and so on. So that then, through the experience I've had as a player myself, but then also as a tour coach, I used to travel and work with pros all around Europe. But then the last 10 years I've been working with amateurs of all levels. And it's rife within the amateur game. And it's even more important for amateurs to be even more specific about the shot choice and what they're going to do. If there are any players that had the option of maybe not taking in a bit of information and being a bit lackadaisical, it would be the professional, because they can actually obviously be more consistent with their approach. So, Paul, to answer your question, what I would encourage you to do is this, is learn, if you like, what would you say to me if you were then caddying for me on the bag, or you were caddying for one of your golfing buddies and you wanted them to play consistently and well? What advice would you give over shots? And it would be along the lines of giving them very clear info, front, pin, back of the green, be very clear on how far they actually hit their club, so you actually know that they hit it this sort of distance. And now suddenly you've got amateur golfers who actually have got a bit more of a professional approach that now can actually fully commit to shots. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to hit every shot perfectly by any stretch of the imagination, but I can assure you I've worked with lots of amateurs and professionals where I would stand there and I'd go, right, tell me out loud what you're going to do. And it would sound like this. Well, what I'm thinking of is, I'm thinking sort of try and hit it near the front side, and what I'm hoping will happen is I'm just going to go straight this one to see what happens. And suddenly there's all this, already there's this doubt that has built up, and they're now going to stand over this shot and hope that it actually comes to fruition. So what I would encourage you to do is to perhaps rehearse a little bit, whether you do it out loud, but I love it when people talk out loud and say this is the shot. For me, I think it would be a fantastic sort of competition to run where all players in the field had to go, I'm going to do this, and it'd be very interesting to see what would happen. But obviously a lot of people think, I'm not good enough to nominate the shot and be that specific. However, remember, it's even more important for amateur players, whether you play off 28 handicap, 16, 12, 5, or you're off scratch, or you're a professional golfer. It's key. That is why professional players have tour caddies, because they forget this stuff. Yeah, I forgot it. I didn't know it. David Magic Johnson comes along and transforms my game, and I had no idea why. The following event, he then goes his way, I go mine. I think I'm the big cheese, and actually I never get even remotely close to that level again because I didn't understand the actual core lesson that happened. So I hope that makes sense, Paul. I hope that's answered your question. I hope it's given you something to really work with for when you go and play next at your on your next round. Just really be specific with the shot. Go through the yardages for yourself, and I think you'll find if you get into the habit, even if you just word it, run through it in your mind, I think you're going to find it's going to be very, very beneficial for you. So thank you for watching today, and I hope again that's helped. If you've enjoyed what I've run through today, then please, like the channel, the YouTube channel, like Facebook, press bell for notifications on the YouTube. Now, one thing I'll leave you with as well, I've just added a video this morning on YouTube which is called Your Par, all about strategy. It will link nicely into what I've just been talking to you, but from a slightly different angle. So go and check that video out. It's Your Par on the Carl Watts Golf YouTube channel, and I think you'll find it'll be very helpful for you. And again, it could be another shot that could save you when you're on the course. So thanks for watching, and just always remember, guys, you're only one tip away. See you very soon.